Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels, and thank you to our supporters Mr Fothergill Seeds and Cobra Garden. Today I'm going to give you some tips on how to keep your houseplants happy and healthy, and I'm going to show you what to do with delphiniums when they finish flowering. Well, today I thought we'd talk a little bit about houseplants because they are really popular at the moment. Lots of people are growing them. Of course, you don't need a garden because they are what they are, houseplants. They grow inside. But at this time of the year, it's always good just to bring them out. And I brought these out just so you can see them better anyway. But there's no reason why the majority of houseplants can't be given a bit of a summer holiday outside through June, July and August when there's no frost forecast. And if it's on a day when there's a few showers and we've got a bit of rain in the air today, then they will positively love it. A bit of rain on them will just wash the foliage and it just seems to perk them up. So thought we'd just have a quick look at a few of them, then just give you one or two tips. This is probably one that everybody recognises instantly. This is the spider plant. Everybody used to grow these. This one is a little bit tired at the moment. As you can see, it's very pot bound, and the roots have actually distorted the shape of the pot because they've got a really strong vigorous root system. The only way I'm going to get this out of this pot is to actually slice it off with a knife and then put it into a bigger one. But they're very easy to propagate, and there's a young one here which probably came off this one, and this one's already started to produce the little runners there on the end, and all you do is detach those, put them in a small pot and away you go. So I might even just get rid of that one and grow these on. So really good, very much in fashion again at the moment they are, and it's one of the best plants for taking impurities out of the air. So they use them a lot in offices where they've got lots of computers and electronic equipment. Grown as a foliage plant. I also like this one. This is again another sort of old-fashioned one. This is one of the plectranthus. Just is a lovely green trailing leaf, and it just grows like mad and very easy to take cuttings. You just take off some of the growing tips like that, put them around the edge of a pot and away you go. So just nice to have them in a little group. This one is called a peperomia. It's grown for its leaves, these lovely dark plum coloured leaves, and then it produces these sort of flower spikes periodically through the season. So it's just a bit different and interesting to grow. Another one that is instantly recognisable, of course, is this one, mother-in-law's tongue, Sansevieria. Very much a structural plant. Again, has quite a vigorous root system. This one is now getting ready because I can feel the roots through there to go into another pot. Now is a good time. If you do need to pot them up, then you can do it. Don't go into a huge pot. I would just do one maybe an inch or two bigger, and that will be fine. But it's just got these lovely tall towering leaves up there. Probably one of the most popular plants that we grow is this one. This is a flowering one. This is an orchid. This is the moth orchid, or Phalaenopsis, and it's got these lovely flowers that look like a moth, hence its name. This is a lovely white one, but you can get them in mauves and pinks and stripy and mottled flowers, and they last for ages. It really is good value for money, these are. You can pick them up from, you know, anything £8–10, and they will flower and flower and flower. And once they have flowered, and I can show you on this one what I've done with this was the main flowering stem here, and that was cut down to a bud, and then what happened is that bud below it grew in this case, and it's now got a second spike of flowers on there. So you can keep them going for a long time. Now if you're growing orchids, the secret is not to overwater them. More people kill orchids by giving them too much water. They're grown in these transparent pots like this, and you can see the roots, and the secret is water them just once a week. We put these on the kitchen sink, or Jill does actually, and gives them a really good soak in, let them drain through, and then they can go back in the pot. They should never stand in water. And a little tip is, when you can see these fleshy roots, when they're green, that means they're fully hydrated with water. If they go a real silvery colour, it needs a drink. So it tells you when it needs a drink, but they just go on and on and on. Round at the front here, I've got a couple of plants. These are begonias. Now this one is a foliage begonia. It's just grown for its really attractive leaves. It's only a baby begonia, this one. It's just, as you can see, in a small 4-inch pot. It will go up anytime now, maybe to a 6-inch pot, and it's just lovely. I just love the leaf and that swirl that it gets. So this is what we call a begonia rex. These are great in the house, don't need direct sun, and go on for years and years. Whereas this one here is another begonia. It has a tuber, this one, and it's got these lovely, lovely orange flowers, just the colour of tangerines these are. This one is called Begonia Sutherlandii, and it's lovely at this time of the year. This again is a young plant. It will get much bigger. It will die down in the autumn, just goes yellow. I often grow one or two of these outside in pots in the garden and then take them into the greenhouse in the winter, but make a great house plant on a bright but not too sunny window. They die down in the winter, the tuber gets bigger each year, they spring to life in March time, and you get this lovely cascading plant. And what I do with these small pots, just a little tip is, they dry out quite quickly. So I've just got a tray here with some pebbles on it, and to just keep the humidity, when you can water obviously your plants as normal, but any spare water will then obviously, oh, I've spilt a bit there, that's silly of me, it will go onto the gravel. And when you stand these on, it just creates those lovely humid, cool conditions that most house plants like, but never again let them stand in water. So put a bit of water on there all means, but don't make it so that it stands in the base of the pot. One of my favourite flowering plants is this one. This is the Streptocarpus, and it's a real beauty, this one is. And they come in a range of different colours. This one is called Tanya, but you can get them in sort of deep pink colours now, white ones, real purple, and bicoloured flowers like this one, which is a lovely one. It's got this sort of lemon yellow or very pale yellow and blue. Now these will flower and flower and flower. Ideal in the house, don't need a sunny position. They like to be in a bit of shade. That's where they naturally grow, in sort of woodlands in South Africa. But the tip to keep these flowering is to regularly deadhead, and as soon as the flowers go over, you can pinch them off. If you don't, they produce seed pods and stop flowering, and we want this to continue flowering right the way through the summer. So this one here I haven't done for a week or two, and you can see there's lots of dead flowers in there. So it is literally just a case of going through, picking them all off. Instantly makes it look better, but more importantly, it encourages even more flowers. So take them off when they get to that stage, and it will send up lovely new flower spikes down there in the centre. So watering them is the main thing you need to do, and as I said, you know, they're fine to bring out at this time of the year. You know, it is showery and they will love it. They'll think they're in a tropical rainforest. Don't stand them anywhere in direct sun, somewhere a little bit shady, north, south of the house, or where they're not going to get too much direct sun on them. But even if you've got them in the house, remember they need a lot of water at this time of the year, and it's important that you keep them moist but not too wet, and you need to feed them. Now if it's a foliage plant like the ones that are tending to be on that side, then you could use something with a bit more nitrogen, something like this well-known houseplant fertilizer. It's high nitrogen, it encourages leaf. But if it's flowers like on the orchid or the Streptocarpus or this lovely begonia, I would put something with a higher potash in there. Tomato fertilizer is fine, and you only need to do that once a week or even once a fortnight, and it will just keep them nice and healthy all the way through the season. If you've got a little mister, a little hand sprayer, then give them a little mist now and again. That really works well, and in fact I haven't got mine, so I'm going to get it. Just stay there. It's really good, this is, just to give them a mist. Now obviously don't do this on your best Chippendale, you know, take them outside, give them a mist, but it's all about creating that humidity around them, so do that. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to do a little bit of snipping if you want to. If you've got damaged leaves, there's a leaf damaged on this spider plant, so I'm just going to cut that out and get rid of it. Likewise on this is a peace lily. It's not a good specimen. This is one that's been in my office and it's a bit of a dark corner. This is a sign that it's hungry, so obviously it needs feeding more, but once you start to get these brown tips on it, that's because it's been too dry at some stage. I've neglected it, I do admit. So I'm going to take that leaf out completely, right down into the base, and then it will produce some more foliage, nice new foliage. So any damaged leaves that spoil the appearance, you can snip them off. But basically just enjoy them, keep them watered, keep them fed, snip off a few leaves and get a nice little group together, and you'll really enjoy them in the house. The Delphiniums have done well this year. We got some lovely flower on them, but as you can see, even though there's just a little bit of flower hanging on there, the bulk of the flowering stem has finished and we've got loads of seed pods. So I don't want the seed off them, certainly not that quantity of seed anyway, so I cut them down. Now I know some people just deadhead them down to this level, but if you cut them down and give them a bit of TLC, sometimes you can get a second flush of growth and maybe a few smaller spikes of flower at the end of the summer or early autumn. So I'm just going to take out these wire hoops that we've had round them just to give them some support as they were growing, and then it's a case of pruning them down, and it is a little bit drastic. You need your secateurs for it, so we're not deadheading. We are going to do some serious pruning down here, down at this level, and I'm literally going to cut them down. They've got hollow stems, but I'm going to cut them down to about 4 or 5 inches from ground level, almost as if you're clearing away at the end of the season. So that is all going to come off, and there's quite a lot of growth in there, but it's just exposed it so you can see it, and everything will be cut out, cleared away. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed and water. Although we're getting a bit of showery weather, this is quite dry in there, it's in the shade. So I've mixed up a couple of gallons of liquid feed. I'm actually giving them a seaweed feed, sea salt, and then just give them a really good soak round with that. And then maybe in a week's time, I'll give them another soak. And the rain's coming to help me with it now, which is right on cue. And then what we'll get from where they're all cut down, we'll get new growth. And let's come back in the late summer and see if we've got any flowers. Thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and thank you for all your likes and shares, and please keep telling your friends about it. And remember, we're also on YouTube where you can subscribe for free. Next time I'm going to be checking on the tomatoes in the polytunnel and catching up with a few things around the garden. We'll see you then. Bye.